Some people don't struggle because they're weak. They struggle because they're too honest. And if you're someone who always tells the truth, this might hit you harder than you expect. Because honesty sounds like a strength. But in today's world, it often comes with a price. And here's the reality most people won't tell you. If you're a very truthful person, you might be going through things others don't understand. Trait number 1, people say you're too blunt. You don't sugarcoat. You don't fake reactions. You say what you actually think. And because of that, people sometimes call you rude. Even when your intention was just to be real, the truth is, people don't always hate honesty. They hate honesty that makes them uncomfortable. Trait number 2, you feel misunderstood. You don't play games. You don't manipulate. You don't speak in hidden meanings. But many people communicate through ego, through indirect signals, through half-truths. And when you don't operate like that, they don't understand you. So you end up feeling like you don't fit in. Trait number 3, people take advantage of your transparency. You're open, you're genuine. You don't pretend to be something you're not. But not everyone is that real. Some people use your honesty to read you, to predict you, to benefit from you. Because when you're transparent, you're easy to trust, but you're also easy to exploit. Trait number 4, you lose people for speaking the truth. You don't lie to keep the peace. You don't agree just to be liked. You don't support things you know are wrong. And because of that, some people walk away. But here's the truth. Honesty doesn't push the right people away. It only filters the wrong ones out. Trait number 5, you struggle with fake environments, office politics, fake friendships, forced conversations, pretending to like people you don't respect. That kind of world drains you because you don't know how to wear masks, and deep down, you don't want to. Trait number 6, you often feel alone. Not because people don't like you, but because real conversations are rare, deep connections are rare, and surface-level relationships don't satisfy you. You don't want attention, you want authenticity, and that's hard to find. But here's the important part. Being honest isn't your problem. Your problem is expecting everyone else to value honesty the way you do, because not everyone wants the truth. Some people only want comfort. Some people only want validation. Some people only want what benefits them. Psychology calls this a reality gap. Truthful people expect sincerity, but the world often runs on image. And that gap is what makes honesty feel painful sometimes. So here's your wake-up call. Don't stop being honest. Just learn where your honesty is valued. Not every space deserves your transparency. Not every person deserves your truth. And not every situation requires your full openness. Because honesty without boundaries, it turns into self-exposure. But honesty with wisdom becomes power. So if you're someone who always tells the truth, and it feels like the world doesn't understand you, remember this. You're not difficult, you're rare. And the right people won't be threatened by your honesty. They'll respect it, they'll trust it, they'll stay. So tonight, ask yourself, am I being honest with everyone or only with people who've earned it? Because the moment you protect your honesty is the moment it starts working for you. And remember, in a world full of filters, being real is your advantage. Some people aren't lost. They're just being driven by their impulses. And if you feel like your decisions are often controlled by desire, this might hit closer than you expect. Because lust isn't just about attraction, it's about chasing temporary feelings, even when they cost you something long-term. And if you're often driven by lust, this might be true about you. Trait number 1, you confuse attraction with connection. The excitement feels strong, the chemistry feels intense, the pull feels real, but intensity isn't always compatibility. And many times, what feels like a deep bond is just physical or emotional excitement. Trait number 2, you act fast and think later. In the moment, everything feels urgent. You follow the feeling, you ignore the consequences, and later, you wonder why things became complicated, because desire lives in the present, but consequences live in the future. Trait number 3, you get bored quickly. The chase excites you, The mystery pulls you in. The newness feels addictive. But once the excitement fades, your interest starts fading too. Not because the person changed, but because the thrill did. Trait number 4, you ignore red flags. When desire is strong, logic becomes quiet. You overlook behavior. You justify warning signs. You tell yourself, it's not a big deal. They'll change. It's worth it. Until the situation proves otherwise. Trait number 5, you mistake validation for attraction. Sometimes it's not the person, it's how they make you feel. Wanted, desired, chosen. And that attention becomes addictive. Because lust isn't always about them. Sometimes it's about the ego feeling good. Trait number 6, you feel empty after the excitement ends. The high doesn't last, the thrill fades, and once the moment is over, there's a strange emptiness. Because temporary pleasure can't replace real emotional connection. But here's the truth most people won't say. Lust isn't the problem, it's human, it's natural. The real problem is when lust starts making your decisions for you. Because when desire leads your choices, you trade long-term peace for short-term satisfaction. Psychology calls this impulse-driven behavior. The brain chases dopamine now and ignores consequences later. And over time, this pattern affects your relationships, your focus, and even your self-control. So here's your wake-up call. Slow down. Not every attraction needs action. Not every feeling needs to be followed. And not every connection is meant to be explored. Because real power isn't in chasing every desire. Real power is in choosing what's worth your energy. So if you feel like lust has been driving your decisions, ask yourself this tonight. Am I choosing this person or just the feeling they give me? Because the moment you start controlling your impulses is the moment your life becomes more stable, more focused, and more meaningful. And remember, temporary pleasure feels good for a moment, but self-control builds a life you won't regret. If this made you reflect, don't just scroll. Subscribe to RealMind for more content that helps you understand your mind, your choices, and your real growth. Some people don't get betrayed because they're weak. They get betrayed because they're too pure. And if you've been betrayed lately, this might hit you harder than you expect. Because betrayal doesn't always come from enemies. Sometimes, it comes from the people you trusted the most, the ones you defended, the ones you loved, the ones you never thought would switch up. And listen, that pain is different, because betrayal doesn't just hurt your heart, it messes with your mind. You start questioning everything. Was I blind? Was I stupid? Was I not enough? But let me tell you something most people won't say. Sometimes you get betrayed because of your best traits. Yeah, your best traits. And here are the traits that usually get betrayed the most. Trait number 1, you trust too deeply. You don't do half trust. When you let someone in, you let them in fully. You believe people mean what they say. You assume loyalty is normal because loyalty is normal to you. But not everyone is built like that. Some people don't see your trust as love, they see it as access. Trait number 2, you ignore red flags because you see potential. You don't fall in love with reality. You fall in love with who they could be. You forgive too fast. You explain their behavior for them. You tell yourself, they're just stressed. They didn't mean it. They'll change. And that's why betrayal shocks you, because you were busy building a future in your head while they were showing you the truth in real life. Trait number 3, you give more than you ask for. You're the type to show up. You help, you support, you sacrifice. Even when nobody sees it, even when it costs you. And the problem is, people get addicted to your effort, but they don't respect your heart. They love what you do for them, but they don't value you. Trait number 4, you stay loyal to people who don't deserve it. You don't switch up easily. Even when someone hurts you, you still try to understand them. You still try to fix it, because you don't like giving up on people. But sometimes a loyalty becomes self-destruction because you keep holding on while they keep showing you they don't care. Trait number 5, you don't set boundaries. Not because you're weak, but because you don't want to be mean. You don't want conflict. You don't want to disappoint anyone. So you stay quiet, you tolerate, you let things slide, and eventually, people start treating you however they want because you never taught them what it costs to lose you. Trait number 6, you love with your heart, not your ego. You don't play games. You don't try to act cold. You don't do fake pride. You love genuinely, and that's rare. But in today's world, real love scares fake people. Because when you love deeply, it exposes how shallow they are. So they betray you, not because you did something wrong, but because they can't match what you bring. And here's the scariest part. Betrayal changes you. It makes you colder. It makes you suspicious. It makes you question your own kindness. But listen carefully. Don't let one betrayal turn you into someone you're not. Because your kindness isn't the problem. Your lack of boundaries is. Your love isn't the problem. Your tolerance for disrespect is. And your trust isn't the problem. Your failure to walk away early is. Psychology calls this a pattern. People who get betrayed often are the ones who believe everyone has a heart like theirs. But they don't. Some people don't feel guilt. Some people don't feel loyalty. Some people only feel opportunity. So here's your wake-up call. Stop giving people unlimited access to you. Stop explaining disrespect. Stop staying where you're not valued. Because betrayal is painful, but it also reveals something powerful. It shows you who's real, and it shows you what you need to fix in yourself, not your heart, your standards. So if you've been betrayed, don't beg, don't chase closure, don't try to prove your worth. The lesson is simple. They lost someone loyal. You lost someone fake, you win. Now here's your challenge tonight. Ask yourself, where did I ignore the signs and because I wanted it to work? And then promise yourself this, never again. Because the moment you learn to protect your heart is the moment betrayal stops finding you. If this video hit you, don't scroll, heal, level up. And remember, being betrayed didn't make you weak. It proved you were real. If you love to sleep, you might think it's just a habit, a preference, or maybe even a guilty pleasure. But psychology says there's more to it than that. This isn't judgment. This isn't opinion. This is science. This is human behavior. And today on RealMind, we're breaking down what your love for sleep might actually say about your mind and personality. First, your creativity. If you love sleep, chances are your brain runs differently. Sleep lovers often have rich, imaginative minds. Dreams aren't just random. They're training grounds. Your brain connects ideas, solves problems, generates insight while your body rests. Research shows people who prioritize sleep perform better on creative tasks. Their minds wander in ways that lead to innovation. You're not lazy, you're recharging your genius. Second, your emotional intelligence. Sleep isn't just rest, it's repair. When you sleep well, your mind processes emotions. It regulates stress. It improves patience. It makes you more empathetic. People who love sleep often read situations clearly. They understand moods. They sense tension. They respond thoughtfully. Your love of sleep isn't weakness. It's emotional calibration. Third, your resilience. Sleep lovers know the power of recovery. You understand limits. You don't push recklessly. Research shows those who respect sleep bounce back faster from challenges. Their minds stay sharper under pressure. You face life like a marathon, not a sprint. Fourth, your independence. If you value sleep, you also value your boundaries. You know when to step back. You know when to recharge. You aren't easily swayed by social pressure or expectation. Your life isn't defined by constant activity. It's defined by balance. Fifth, your self-awareness. Loving sleep often comes with reflection. You notice patterns in your energy. You understand yourself deeply. You know what makes you thrive and what drains you. You aren't chasing society's standards of productivity. You follow your own rhythm. Now here's the part most people don't understand. If you love sleep, the world may see you as slow, lazy, disconnected. But that couldn't be further from the truth. You're tuned into your mind. You protect your health. You think deeply. You create quietly. In a culture that glorifies exhaustion, your choice to rest is radical. Here's the final truth. If you love to sleep, you are thoughtful, you are resilient, you are quietly powerful. And in a world that never stops, that kind of strength is rare. If this described you or someone you respect, share this video. Subscribe to RealMind for psychology, truth, and deep understanding without sugarcoating. Because when you understand the mind, you understand the world. Some people struggle because they don't know what they like. Others struggle for a different reason. They like too many things. If you've ever felt pulled in 10 different directions, if your curiosity never shuts off, if people tell you to just focus on one thing, this is for you. People who have many interests are often misunderstood. They're called unfocused, indecisive, uncommitted. But psychology tells a different story. Having many interests is not a lack of discipline. It's a high sensitivity to patterns, ideas, and meaning. Your mind doesn't settle easily because it sees connections everywhere. Most people zoom in, you zoom out. Research in cognitive psychology shows that people with multiple interests often score high in curiosity, openness to experience, and abstract thinking. Your brain is wired to explore. When something stops teaching you, your interest fades, not because you're lazy, but because your mind is hungry for growth. You don't chase novelty, you chase understanding. This is where the struggle begins. Modern culture rewards specialization. One job, one identity, one label. But your mind doesn't work like that. You don't want one path, you want a map. So when it's time to choose, you hesitate, because choosing one thing feels like losing everything else. You start overthinking. You feel behind. You question yourself. Not because you lack potential, but because your potential is spread across many directions. What most people don't see is the hidden strength. People with many interests develop strong intuition, systems thinking, and creative problem solving. You understand ideas faster because you've seen similar patterns elsewhere. You can connect psychology to business, art to technology, emotion to logic. You are not scattered, you are cross-trained. But there is a danger. Without structure, curiosity turns into exhaustion. You start many things, finish few, and quietly blame yourself. You think something is wrong with you. But the problem isn't your interests. The problem is trying to live like a specialist when you're wired like a generalist. A multi-interest mind doesn't need restriction, it needs rhythm. Some people bloom early, others bloom wide. History is full of people who explored many fields before creating something meaningful. Their path wasn't linear, it was layered. What looks like distraction now often becomes clarity later. Instead of forcing yourself to find one passion, anchor your life to one direction, not a single job. A central theme: understanding, creating, explaining, helping, connecting. Your interests aren't random, they're circling the same core. People with many interests often feel alone because it's hard to explain a mind that doesn't fit into one box. But your curiosity is not a flaw, it's a signal. You were never meant to do just one thing. You were meant to connect things. If this described you, you're not broken, you're unfinished. And that's not a weakness, that's potential.